Right, welcome back to the channel. We've got another backlog box here, a couple of items in here to have a look at, one which you probably will be familiar with and one probably which you'll probably be less familiar with. So let's take both of these out of the box and see what we need to do with them. It's always good when you see eBay sellers packing stuff properly. What have we got here then? I'm sure you'll recognise this. We turn it over. We have yet another Amstrad 901, and we've got a removable or damage the warranty seal sticker there. But this one looked to be in pretty good condition. Probably the front fascia with a bit of a clean up. That could be one of the tidiest ones of these that I've got. So that's good. It did look really tidy in the listing, so I'm sure with a little bit of foam cleanser we'll be able to bring that up really nice. Luckily for me, it's got the original proper power connector on it there, and it is the Japanese version, as you can see there, and that's crucial. I will not touch the Hong Kong based 901s because they are absolute pants. So in comparison to these anyway, they do work, but they're not as good as the Japanese versions. And look, this one's still got the plastic covering, if you can see that, the plastic covering over the plate, so you know this has been in the hands of somebody that's going to have looked after it. Well, we'll find out, shall we? The other thing that appealed to me with this purchase was that it comes with an MB-30 Plus Sadelta angle poise microphone. Look at that, beautiful. I do actually have, and some of you might have seen, I do actually have a powered version of this microphone. I'll just get it down on the desk. We actually have the Sadelta Echo Master Plus as well here, which has the same features, which I don't know if I did a video on this, but this has the modulation and the echo function as well, and I use this on the Harrier CBHQ. But these are really nicely made mics, these are, and if like me, if you're like a bit of a rag tune, you've got the space for a desk mic, I think they're a really great option. And you know, just free up your hands. Particularly nice if you're kind of like me, if you're working away and you want to have a natter as well. And with these poseable microphones, they're just also a nice retro bit of kit. But this one has been serviced. I have serviced that one. I use this with the Harrier CBHQ when I'm playing around. And so we'll have a look at this one. We'll try it and make sure it works, but it looks in pretty good condition, so I might just pop the back off it and show you what's inside and just give it a quick clean up. So perhaps we'll do that. We'll try it all out first, and the combination out first with the radio, and get some figures, and then we'll quickly take the mic apart and have a little look. I've not even cleaned that lid, and that is absolutely in perfect condition. That really is. I just need a bit of a wipe down. That's and this top fascia, which can often very much get damaged with these radios, that's in really good condition too. So one thing you'd be very careful of if you do get a vintage radio like these is using any alcohol based products, particularly when you get white lettering on the black background like that. I would only recommend using water based products like the foam cleanser to clean those, because you can actually start to take the lettering off and you'll see it smudge. So just bear that in mind. Don't use alcohol based cleaners on the front of these fascias. Right, the first test is, will it transmit? And the answer is yes. We're on low power only at the moment, so I think the switch might be out at the back, so let me just double check that. Yep, the switch was in the low power position, so we're transmitting there, and we're getting a full 4 watts out of the radio. You can see it's a little bit off of frequency when we get to the SDR. It's only ever so slightly low, but that's a good sign, because that normally means that no one's been in there fiddling about. So I think we'll do a test on the modulation next, and then we'll check the receive. Okay, so let's give this a go. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and you can see we're not getting any modulation there at all. So what we'll do is we'll pop a normal microphone in there and just see if we can get any out of a standard mic, and then we'll know there's something wrong with that, or vice versa. Right, we've got a vintage Harrier microphone here, and we'll try this. 1 2 1 2. Yeah, so that's absolutely fine. Modulation's good. So yeah, so there's obviously something wrong with this microphone. It may be these might require a battery. I'm not sure. I wouldn't have thought so, because there's no power requirements on these. So we'll get the RX results for the radio now, and then I think it looks like we've got a bit of work to do on that microphone. Alright, you can hear the front panel controls need cleaning. But when we find a good spot, it's doing 0.39 of a microvolt for 12 dB sinad. I mean, it doesn't sound good, does it? It doesn't sound very nice. So, but the first thing we'll do with the radio is clean those all the controls on the front here, and give those switches a bit of a clean as well. But I think we'll look at the microphone first. That should be fairly straightforward to fix, hopefully. As this is the same base that they use in some of their other products, the powered microphones, there is a battery compartment here. We'll remove these base screws and take this out and have a little look. It may well be just that it's not, obviously it might be not even wired for this radio. That might be the other reason for it not working. Well, I got that totally wrong, didn't I? There is a microphone board in here. As you can see, we've got a very corroded battery. That needs to come away and be disposed of. I'll be a bit careful with taking that off because that looks a bit damaged. And we've got some form of an op amp in here and a volume adjust there. So obviously this would be a manual adjust microphone. So let's go ahead and assume it is wired for the Amstrad. What I'll do here is I'll give this switch a bit of a clean, and we'll clean up the battery terminals, pop a new 9V in, just freshen it up in there, and then we'll plug it back into the radio and see if we've got some audio. Right, it seems to have cleaned up okay. Battery terminal actually has a wire brush on, but it certainly looks okay. And but you must always clean these up if you see that green corrosion on there. And what we'll do with this is just put a tiny little bit, tiniest of little squeeze, little drop of oil on that little slidey rail there, just to help the locking mechanism glide across without any kind of friction. So that should all be good. Right then, we'll clean the lead up. I'll pop this back together, we'll put a new battery into it, and we'll see if it works. Okay, so now let's give this a try. Yeah, now we're getting a transmit. Are we getting any audio? Wallow. 1 2. Now you can see there's a definite problem there with the it's either this mod gain is up a bit too high, or there's something else driving the modulation up on that. So what I'll do is we'll do a tune up of the radio first. Now we'll put this to one side, and what I've also done is I've also applied some anti-corrosion paint to where the battery linked onto this plate, just to stop it corroding. So what we'll do for now then is we'll pop this microphone to one side, and we'll get on with cleaning this little fella up. I've done a lot of Amstrad 901s, and this is by far and away the tidiest one. Look at that, absolutely pristine like factory, and the flat protective felt tape there is in absolutely immaculate, and doesn't look like it's had anyone go in this. Looks incredibly factory, and in very good conditions. But the first thing I will tackle is we'll get some spray into these pots here and clean all these up, because they are quite dirty, and I don't normally touch those unless they need doing, and they very much do need doing on this set. Right, we've cleaned these controls. They're all right now, and got a Roger beep, channel 9, PA, CB, all the switches are all working fine. So that's all good. We'll give this a clean once we've done all the full setup. Okay, looking at the back of the radio, it looks in pretty good condition. I've seen cleaner, but it doesn't look like anyone's been soldering around in here. Well, there's no bulging capacitors or issues of any kind I can see here. It has got the 3.3 ohm dropper resistor there, and it is already doing 4 watts. I very often do replace these for a higher rated value, but I don't think there's any requirement to do that on this one. I will check its temperature. I've got a thermal camera anyway. I'll run a little test just to make sure it's okay. But I can't see that there's anything major going on in there to be concerned about, and because there are a million Amstrad 901 tune-up videos, I'm not going to go through it here. All I will say is if you've got one, this manual is the one to use. It's freely available online. You can download it, and it goes through the full procedure that you need to do to align the radio. So I'll go in and do that, and then I'll cut back to you shortly. Okay, now without any adjustment, there's a slightly strange effect. I'll have to listen on the monitor receiver to see what's doing this, but 1, 2. But you see when there's no audio, look, we're getting a full 2K there of deviation, but there's no audio. So I will actually monitor this on the President Randy. Okay, straight away we can tell we have a little problem there, don't we? So whether that's being picked up on the microphone lead that's draped across the radio, I don't know. That's possibly a bad capacitor in there of some kind. What we'll do is we'll take this completely off of the CB, and then we'll run some signals into the oscilloscope. Okay, before I do that, I'll pop it into lock mode. So we'll slide that across. So we've got the TX light with very low audio, but the minute that we bring the audio up ever so slightly, we get that buzz. We still got modulation, but we get the buzz off of that. So there's an issue somewhere. Let's just pull that away from the radio and try again. Yeah, so very unlikely it's the amplifier here. It's possible it's the capacitors or some other issue. Well, that's strange, isn't it? It's okay. Let's just see what we're getting out of the mic into the scope. Okay, so the first thing to check if you ever get any humming or buzzing is your screen connection, and I've checked that's going to the correct pin on the plug, which is number 3 on this one. I think it was number 3. Yeah, number 3. And so what I think I'll do is we'll disconnect the microphone element, the condenser mic element, and we'll inject a signal via. You'll have seen this on the desk. This was my old signal generator I used to use for FM signal generation. I'll inject a signal in with the signal generator into the circuit, and then we'll see how that sounds or looks on the oscilloscope, and see if we can well, first of all we'll eliminate the fact that there's a problem with the condenser mic, I suppose, and then we'll work from there. Okay, we're generating a tone, 1 kHz tone out of the signal generator, and we've disconnected the microphone and we're feeding it into the input side of the amplifier, and we're monitoring the input signal and the output signal. So on the oscilloscope you can see the input signal down the bottom in blue, and then the output signal at the top, and you can see that's nice. When we press the PTT on and off, that's a nice clear signal. Alright, and as I press the PTT button now, I'm going to move the little potentiometer up and down inside the microphone there, and you can see we're getting a nice clean signal there. So there must be some other reason why we're getting the buzz. Possibly there's an issue with the mic lead or something, but I mean, this inspection proves that there's nothing wrong with the actual amplification part of the circuit, and no need to change any components. Okay, now so what we've done now is I've disconnected the signal generator, I've connected the condenser microphone, and we're going to use the signal generator, tone generator, to pop a tone into the microphone, and just to check how clean the signal is, and we'll try ramping the signal up and down. Okay. It's a little bit sawtooth. It's just the way it works. But if I whistle into this, So you can see there's definitely a clear signal, and a normal, I can't see any low frequency buzzing or noises on that at all. And in fact, if we plug a little amplifier in, we should be able to listen to it. It's always worth doing audio tests, particularly if you've got a signal generator and an oscilloscope, if not just to give you an excuse to use your equipment. So we know that this is good, and we know that this is good, and we also know that this is good. We've got no buzzes coming up there on the Randy at all, have we? So there must be something else, and the only thing that we, of course, might be causing us some grief here is the microphone lead. Now, looking at the plug actually looks good, but when you start to look at the lead, can you see that? We can turn the lead independently of the plug, and this collar's loose. So I think our problem is going to be within the plug. And there we go. I don't know if you're getting this, it's hard to do one-handed, but you see the brown wire is disconnected. It's become discombobulated. So we'll get that rewired. I'll check out the other connections there and we'll rewire it. As you can see, all the other connections are rather scabby. So we'll remake this lead and we'll reconnect it. We've taken a note of the connections there. So we'll remake that, and hopefully it'll be somewhere thereabouts. I'll see if I've got a bit of sleeving so this collar can clamp properly around the sleeve. That's a common thing. If anyone knows where to get the sleeving for this from, rather than use screen heat shrink, let me know. I'll be looking for some. So yeah, we'll do that. Okay, right, we've remade the mic lead. The moment of truth. There we go. No buzzing at all. And 1 2 1 2. Right. So what we'll do now is we'll adjust the deviation now to match this desktop microphone. 1 2 1 2. You can see there it's still a bit too high even on the lowest setting. So well, I don't know actually because your voice isn't right up next to the microphone, is it? So let me just move back from the microphone. Yeah, that's probably still a little bit high, a little tiny bit high. So we'll just lower it down a little bit. So on its lowest setting is about as much as I want to go. Obviously, I could offset the radio here to allow for more of an adjustment on that, but then when I plugged in a normal microphone, a normal fist mic, then it would be wrong on this radio. So yeah, if you adjust it any more, the amplifier itself will actually switch off and not work. So I'll be on the cutoff point. There's one fully serviced microphone. We know it's 100% working okay. We've actually put it on the test equipment, so that's always nice to do that, to get something you know, something that's been tucked away, probably not used that much, looking pretty much as good as new, I think you'd agree there, and sort of working very nicely as we've tested. So we'll crack on with the rest of this parcel, and hopefully the next shot of that will just be a nice gleaming fully reassembled Amstrad 901. It's cleaned up rather nicely, as I'm sure you can see there. So yeah, that's probably one of the nicest ones I've got out of the many that I've got, and a little collection of knobs all also look pretty decent as well. So I'll just do the cases, give them a quick clean, and then we'll be good. Look at that. That's in cracking nick, isn't it, eh? And I say the rest of the case, absolutely mint. Barely a mark on it really for a 40-year-old radio. And it's clearly obviously been in it's been kept very nicely and hardly ever used. So lovely to see. So let's hook it up with the newly serviced microphone and have a little listen, see if there's anyone around. Wow, what a setup. Couldn't imagine the early 80s having a setup like this. Goodness me, a quick advert for Knights there. That's where I get my replacement microphones from. Go and see their website if you need some CB parts. Very, very good chap is Doug. And yeah, look at this beauty. Amstrad 901. Certainly a keeper, this one. I've got about 4 of them, so I think I might have to let a few of those go. This one probably on receive isn't probably quite as good as some of those, but in terms of its physical condition, it's in very, very good condition. If you think of the age of this thing, and I guess you can put a pop shield over that as well, which I might do considering it's a condenser mic. But a really nice little combo, isn't it? And can't really hear that there's anyone around as usual. Let's pop the squelch down. Have a little listen. Sometimes this time of year you will get a lift on, a little bit of a lift. I can't find anything about there. So we get in transmit. There we are. Good way to test your VCO, and it is so nice having the lock function. Just being able to lock the old transmit on like that while you're nattering. So yeah. Don't think we're going to interfere with anyone's conversations, are we? So what I might do is just pop out with the President Randy's, put the squelch up, pop out with the President Randy and do another test. I think first we'll put the President Randy in the other room and just do a static audio test first, just to see how it sounds. Hey, this is the in-house test of the MB-30 Plus Sadelta microphone and the newly set up, very tidy Amstrad CB901. This is a Japanese radio, testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Right, in the absence of Mick, we've got Tyler at the other end. We're about a mile away as we were last time.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, he's ready, look. Hey, sounds good, doesn't he? Okay, Tyler, here we go then. Okay, we're testing the President Randy 3 with the Amstrad 901 and the
Amstrad 901 and the Sadelta test mic. I wonder what it's sounding like to you there.
It's sounding good. There's a little bit of static.
But overall I can understand what you're saying.
Roger, yeah, we're about a mile away as the crow flies. I mean, you sound
really, really good. Really, really nice and clear. What I'll do, if you can just stand by there, I'm just going to change the antenna to the rubber duck to see what difference that makes, okay?
Right, I've changed the antennas. We've now got the rubber duck on. It's quite a difference, I think. Hi Tyler, I've got the rubber duck on now. Is it a bit more crackly with the rubber duck on, Rog?
Tyler, I've got the rubber duck on now. Is it a bit more crackly with the rubber duck on, Rog?
Yeah, it's a bit more crackling.
Yeah, the long antenna is much better, isn't it? And if I lose a bit, I bet it's fading. If I lose or turn, I bet it's fading a little bit, is it?
It doesn't
seem to be making a difference.
Okay, that's fine. No problem then, mate. Thanks for the radio check. I'll let you stop at your end, and I'll speak to you a bit later. So you just stop recording there, mate. Probably a bit too close there to notice the massive difference, but the telescopic antenna does make a big difference when the signal's marginal. So yeah, really useful, the Randy 3 for doing these quick tests where I can just quickly get out and about. It's a very noisy road, so it's not the ideal test spot here, and perhaps we'll get a rig in the car and do something a bit further afield next time. Right, okay, I've had a busy old afternoon sorting that radio out. I hope you've enjoyed these tests and getting a bit more time to do a bit more of these now, so that's good. So I hope if you enjoyed this one, please click the like button. And so many of you people that watch are not subscribed, and it really, really helps me if you can get yourself subscribed, because what it means is when these suppliers are looking to send radios, they won't send them all to Ringway Manchester, they'll send some of them to me. Right, okay, if you've enjoyed this if you've enjoyed this episode, like I say, I'm really pleased, because they do take some time to do, but it's really, really great rescuing these old sets and doing them up and getting them working properly. That's why I do it. That's why I love doing it. So that's why I'm doing it. Right, we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. 73.